Right, we are now live, Chair.
All right, so we're just going to click on got it. Okay,
Right.
okay. So it's the Wawne Parish Council meeting held on the 12th of the 1st, 23.
Chair.
Sorry, we're just going to click on got it. Okay,
Right.
okay. So so is that okay? Are we all on?
Yeah, we're on.
Yep,
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Right, okay. So apologies, I think we're all here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Declaration of interest, anyone?
Finance is for me.
Finance.
Finance. So I think we know about them anyway, don't we?
Yeah.
Open forum.
Well, has there been any comms since we put the notice on the board?
No.
No.
And there was nothing leading up to. There's no burning questions from the village for the meeting either.
Okay,
Right.
well that's good. So can we approve the previous meeting minutes? That was in November 22. I'll approve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll print
So
those
that-
off and get them posted up tomorrow, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, finance and compliance, approval of monthly spend as previously circulated. I can approve it.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
problem with that.
Okay, all right. Right, budget, is this you, Jacob?
Yes, right. Hopefully this works. I'm going to share my screen.
Oof.
Right,
Right, let me share. Go on, that one. Yeah. Right, you should be able to see a spreadsheet.
yeah,
So I'll
Yeah.
just zoom in a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing here is a budget year to date compared what we spent compared to what we budgeted for this year to the end of December.
Right.
Which is the set of accounts that we were sent by the clerk recently.
Yeah.
I'll just highlight the main key areas. So we haven't had as much advertising income so far, and we've had more grant money than expected, and we've had other money come in more than expected. I'll explain those two amounts shortly. We're still not near the end of the year, so we've got £3,000 of running costs left for the end of the year. That's like administration, salaries, stationery, that kind of thing. So that's about right for the next sort of 3 months or so.
mhm,
The Gazette, we've underspent on the Gazette so far, but that comes from a change in from 6 issues a year to 4 issues a year, and it fluctuates from edition to edition because of how many people put things in. You can see here, recreation ground, we've overspent by nearly £3,000, but again, I'll come back to why we're so high on that. Again, we've budgeted to allocate or give out £4,000 of grants to the community in this financial year, and we've not actually given any away yet. Nobody's asked for any money. So we've still got £4,000 sat there. Now the events we'll come on to shortly again, but we actually overspent by £1,700 because we spent 3,000 on Christmas basically versus the 1,200 we planned on spending. But when we budgeted, we expected to get the presents, didn't we?
Jacob,
Yeah.
in the events, was the Jubilee celebration in there?
Yes. Sorry, there's a little bit of Jubilee in there, but that wasn't a massive spend because we got some grant money for that. So
Okay.
that when you net that off, it's not a huge amount.
Okay.
Again, infrastructure. This is things like when we put towards paths, lines, etc. We've not done that this year yet. We've not been asked for any money, and we've not done any of those projects. So we have.
That's ring fence. There's 4,000 ring fenced in there, isn't there, for the street lighting? That never happened.
Yeah, from the budgets, yeah, but there's there's £4,000 out of that 5 for street lighting. We spent some stuff on crime and community safety. That was the ASB meeting and the village hall hire and the flyers, etc. for that one. we have an emergency budget, only a small amount really, just around the numbers up of £150, and we have a budget to save 6,000 a year. Now it looks like we've saved 8,000 more than we needed, but that was the money that we allocated towards the recreation ground from surplus funds from previous years. So essentially this other amount here is a grant towards the girls we had put in, the 3,000 and something pounds we had, and from the girls, or that, I think that's that amount there, which is why it's different. This other grant money, and can you remember where the other money came from?
Defibrillator.
Yeah. Yeah, there's bits and bobs from there in that other column for various things. That obviously we never budget anything for other, because it's other, you don't know you're going to get it. And then the recreation ground, we overspent by 3,000, but again, that was the 3,000 that we spent on the girls. So some of that nets back because we paid half and they paid half. Events, again, we've talked about it. We overspent on Christmas because we didn't know we weren't going to get the presents. And obviously I've talked about the savings. So what it meant was that on a budgeted income of £36,250, and a budgeted £36,075 out, we would have had £175 at the end of the year left if we'd have spent everything, not including what we had in reserve. We do have £4,000 left, £4,416. However, of that £4,416, £4,000 is allocated to the streetlights, which we just haven't paid yet. So effectively, we've got £416 left. Now, given that we've overspent on Christmas, which is the only real overspend, everything else has been grant funded, basically. Christmas, we overspent by £1,700. We would have potentially overspent by 1,200 quid this year if we'd have done everything, if we'd have used everything. Which means, which luckily we haven't, and we're in a good financial position, but the Christmas predicament did put us in an awkward position. Now, I'll go on to the suggested budgets. I was asked to do an average of about £5 a household, an average of about £10 a household, and an average of about £15 a household increase. So budget one, which you should be seeing now, I'll just zoom in a bit. This reflects a £5 increase on a band D property. So that's these cells here. So you can see it's actually a £4.73 per year per band D property. Because obviously each household pays different tax depending on the type of band of property. This would increase the precept from £35,500 here. That shouldn't be in red. £35,500 to £37,000. That would give us an increase of £1,500, and would allow us to spend a bit more on Christmas. Now I'll go down where I've changed things here. So I've just rounded. We had 60, just shy of 17,000 for running costs. Previous budget, I've put in 17,000, 1,500 for the Gazette, £1,000 for the recreation ground. I've put we had £1,200 for events. I've put in there £3,500. Bearing in mind, in the next year, there's going to be a Jubilee, a coronation event, and also Christmas to pay for. And that increase is mainly in that events bit, and that would balance out at £100 left over at the end of the year if we spent everything. But that does include obviously a significant increase, more than double increase in events. Just for interest, on a band D property at an increase of £4.73, it is 39 pence a month or 9p a week. On a band D property, that's your sort of your middle rate precept property, band D. Right, budget 2. All right, I'll just zoom in again. This would see an increase of £2,500 on your precept, which would see a band D change by 52. This allows you to put events up to £4,000 and increased recreation ground to 1,500, and that basically keeps everything else the same. On that one, a £2,500 increase overall would see a Bandy property increase by 62 pence a month or 14 pence a week. Right, I'll go on to this and then obviously we can have a discussion. Just I want to give you all the options. Obviously, we can keep it the same if we want to as well. But, budget 3 would see an increase of £4,500. This would allow us to increase the recreation ground to 2,000 rather than 1,000 allocated. And it would see the events increase to 4,000 from 1,200. I've put a 250 crime and community safety in there as well. Increase the emergency budget to £200, and I've increased the savings from £6,000 a year to £7,000 a year. That's obviously savings money is what goes into our larger project pot of money should we need to pay for major infrastructure projects or contribute towards them. As I said, a Bandy property would go up by £13.09. That £13.09 equates to £1.09 a month or 25p a week. And that's a comparison of the 3 budgets if we increase them. Bearing in mind we're at 37,500 now.
So we still don't have a pot full of money to meet the plan that we put to the village 2 years ago for our continued development. We've still got no. Last year we were exploring purchasing additional land. We've no money for that. We need toilets down at the recreation ground. We need water down at the recreation ground. That place needs, if we're encouraging people to go down there, you need to be have a drink of water, go to the toilet. Those things with the budget that we've got, without some real savings, we're never going to be able to deliver.
And do you know off the top of your head roughly what the savings balance is? Or can you find out and let us know in a minute? All right, thank you.
We've got £27,000
in the savings pot, and there was a 15 of that allocated to the recreation ground. Was it 10? Yeah, there was 10,000 from that, and then there was 5,000 or 6,000 from our underspends from previous years, weren't there?
Yeah.
So you've got 17,000 in the slush fund.
Yeah.
We've got £17,000. Okay. True savings.
And I'm assuming that the wonderful solar farm is never going to put a penny into the village, even though it's going to roll through the roads for the 9 months.
Well, this is the worry that you're seeing the village still want things, and you're going to see East Riding with a tighter budget. The East Riding are not going to be able to look after us the way that we have. And as I say, if we are going to deliver what we want to do, our long-term aspirations, we need some money. That fighting fund can't go down. If the festival committee are doing the summer event, then we need our winter event, Christmas, to have the right amount of money available to us.
Yeah.
It needs to grow. People's expectations are growing, and people are going to have to pay for it. So for me, seeing something in the region of £7.50 increase to give us the 2,500, it's the way forward. My vote.
Just on the solar farm, obviously nothing's confirmed, but they have said, they did say, and I know people can go back on the word and have all the rest of it. They did say that they would, if there was a village project that contribute towards, then there is that. They have reached out with that olive branch. Obviously, that I don't think that money would be there until they've either started building or have built it, but they have sort of intimated that in a public forum that they would be prepared to maybe look at what funding is available for the community.
Okay.
So there is, I don't know how much it'll be. It won't be hundreds of thousands of pounds, obviously, but it will be something. It might be some. We might be able to say, right, well, we want £2,500 towards Christmas, and then we can buy lots of nice presents rather than we can buy £30 presents, Amanda, instead of £20. But yeah.
Right, so
why don't we ask him for 25 grand for the recreation ground?
Say that again, Craig. I missed it.
Why don't we ask him for 25,000 for the recreation ground?
Yeah,
That's a starting point, isn't it? You know, and if they come back and offer us 12 and a half, 15,
yeah,
at least we've got a major contribution to the recreation ground. Then a couple of grand
Frees up
for
money for other things.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, dangle that carrot and see what response to give.
The problem with that is on the recreation ground and on the funding that we've got, the application has been submitted, and we're waiting on. They've asked a few final questions which have been answered, and we're waiting on the final decision. So we could. I don't think we could. We'd have to be careful, but if we wanted money for the recreation ground, we'd still have to pay how much we said we were going to pay. But I think if we were going to develop it further, we'd use their money further. We couldn't. Now we've applied for the money. We couldn't.
Steve mentioned water and he mentioned toilets.
Yeah.
One of the things we talked about the recreation ground being in 3 phases. Phase 1 was the big move of the equipment, but phase 2 was the forest. It was a better car park near the gates, an extended car park, so you could get 2 or 3 cars there with a disabled site for a disabled car to be able to park there at any time. We talked about, and that would cost us an awful lot of money with tarmac. And as I say, if we're going to get water, there's water near the main gate, but it needs to be where the children are playing, and it needs to be in some lockable metal thing that stops the vandals leaving the water on all night. So we do need, like Craig said, a considerable amount of money to keep improving the play area.
I agree. I think
we're going to spend all this money and just have new equipment and nobody using it.
Yeah, we ask for money for improvements.
How many other small parks have toilets and water?
Most of them.
Well, I've been to some and they don't have it.
I agree with you. You said most, and I said most of them have it.
Yeah.
I've been to a few that don't have it. But to be able to get a drink of water and to wash your hands must be one of the best things down there.
I'm just worried about the vandalism and the cost if they all get damaged.
I agree with you.
I like the idea of it. It's the vandalism side of it and how much it's going to cost us once we're committed to it.
But if we're going to commit to having trees planted down there and then not be able to water those trees in the first 2 years while they get established, we're wasting the money on putting the trees down there in the first place. So water is essential down there. And then being able to put the water inside some metal lockable cabinet so that villagers could go to the village shop and get a key to go down there and have a drink or to do whatever it is. But we need water at the recreation ground.
I agree with you.
I think it's worth asking the solar panel people and just dangle a carrot and see what they say, and then from there we can decide what we do.
Yeah,
You'll know what sort of response they give us, and then from that it's up to us, then, isn't it? If we get no response, then we just have to shelve things and move it forward for later on.
Yeah,
we've got disabled equipment down there. We need a disabled car parking spot down there.
Yes. Yes. It's true. I agree.
Or CCTV, all the things that the village keeps banging
all the
on.
nice fancy things that we can't afford at the minute. Can I just go consciously aware that we talked about the precept? Oh, hello, Christine. I can see you now.
I suddenly realised my picture wasn't on. my computer is somewhere wrong. I'm on my phone. I've used my computer all day, no problem. Switch it on tonight and it's not working.
Oh dear. We talked about the precept and we've seen various different options. Yes. I think at this point it might be advisable to have a show of hands to discuss first how people feel, what options they feel is best, and then we can have a show of hands, can't we? because I'm consciously aware that we do need to decide this one. So can we have any comments from anybody, please?
I'd go for option 2. I'd go for something of a
Normally,
typical increase of
as
the
everybody knows,
£7.
I'm very much for raising the precept, but with the current economic situation, that a lot of people will find themselves in, with increased costs. I can't even speak, and I haven't never had a drink, just my antibiotics. With the increased costs of power, fuel, and everything else, I think if we're going to increase it, we need to keep it to a minimum. I know we argue we can't do everything we need to do if we don't increase it, but I'm very conscious that people will be feeling the pinch this year, more so than for a long time. So that's just my view for what it's worth.
Judging by the number of
Please.
people that turn up at the pop-up pub,
The pop-up pub.
yeah, there's no shortage of money. For £10 a year, £7.50 a year we're talking about on average if we go for option B.
What is that? The first option?
No, first option was about a fiver.
Option 2,
which
you
gave us
mean?
1,500.
Yeah.
Option 2, which was about £7.50, is £2.5 grand. I
Right.
agree that the £13 one might be a bit expensive.
Okay.
But my only question is, obviously, we're looking at Band D. How many properties are in Band D in Wawne? How many people are going to be charged more because they're not in a Band D property?
I'm
Most of the
not entirely sure how much.
Because we're only looking at that sort of level, aren't we? Really?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I'm not entirely
Yeah.
sure how many properties are in Band D. To be
Is
fair, off the top
Is
of my
Band
head,
D lower or higher?
it's the middle band.
Oh.
So
most of
on
Main
your
Street,
screen, go on. Sorry.
most of Main Street and Glebe Road are Band C properties.
So Band C would be less £6.68 increase. If you look at on the screen now is option 2, which at the moment seems to be the favourite or the one we're discussing. At the higher end, a Band H property.
That's where where Craig lives.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew you was going to say that.
A Band H property is an increase of £15.04 a year. So
£1 odd, isn't it?
just £1 a month or whatever. It's
Okay.
£1.25 a month.
Which option is that?
That's option 2, the £2,500 increase, or 29 pence a week.
Okay.
To continue with Christmas the way that it has, to build the fighting fund up for future purchases of land or to put water down at the recreation ground to save the trees, to get a car park down at the recreation ground, to me it's the only, it's got to be. That would be my proposal, Chair. Anybody want to vote on that?
Yeah, we'll vote on it.
Second.
I'll agree with that. I think, having looked at it.
As Christine, have you got any comments? Sorry, I'd
go with option 2.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, I'll second your proposal then, Steve.
So can we take a vote then? Who? So is the main sorry, because I'm struggling to hear things here. Is the main consensus the middle option?
Yes.
Yeah, so just to clarify, the budget 2, option 2, would increase by £2,500 the precept, with a £7.52 increase on a Band D property.
Is that per year?
Per year, yeah, £7.52 per year on a Band D property. And that would give you £4,000 for events. And some other little increases elsewhere, but mainly a £4,000 budget for events.
Okay, so can we have a show of hands for that increase? Christine, got your hand.
The
I think
two,
that's unanimously carried.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've now done the most important one, which is what we needed to do.
Yeah.
Is everybody happy to carry on for a little bit longer?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Community. and I'm going to read them all out because I think we can more or less hit most of them one after another. Dog fouling poster, speed sign poster, litter picker bags, and Christmas. So can we do dog fouling poster, please?
Still waiting for school. Still too busy.
Okay, no problem. Speed
Jacob, did
sign
you get to
poster.
school?
Speed sign poster is the one we've done. I need to get to school to give them the certificates, and then we can have it turned into whatever poster we're having in the A-frame.
Okay, all right. Litter picker bags.
The East Riding have introduced pink bags for
Right.
litter pickers, so that it stops people with another black bag just disposing of their litter where the litter pickers have been collecting.
Okay, fine.
I've had 4 sets of bags delivered to my house. Lee picked them up yesterday. He'll be using them from now on. Anne's been in touch with Gillian Lang, and she's getting her own from the Beverley something group.
Beverley
Okay.
Wandles, I
Good.
think.
Fine.
Okay.
Right, so Christmas.
Just a bit of information.
Yeah.
Lee was interviewed by a brack on the door man from the East Riding, because when Lee had emptied his bins the last month, he'd put some of his own rubbish in there, and the East Riding had stripped 2 or 3 of the bags apart and went to Lee's house in Hull to find out why his litter was in a litter picking bag in Wawne. So the East Riding are doing their job extremely well.
Right, okay. All right,
Christmas.
Christmas. So have we gone through the Christmas?
No, we have to
thing?
go through it formally now. So
Right, okay.
Christmas was a success.
Yeah, it
Issue
was.
for us was we have to improve on crowd control. That's something
Yes,
that's going to
definitely.
us.
Yeah.
Most people were pretty good. Most of the motorists coming into the village were pretty good. We only had 1 motorist that gave us a real problem. But if we want to continue to giving out gifts to the children of the church, we've got to set a price on that. Now
Yeah.
we've agreed the precept. We've got to agree something for children's toys. Has anybody got any ideas?
Yes, I think we think £20 is quite a good choice, and a £5 token for Wawne stores for the older children, so they can get something for themselves, even if it's only some sweets or whatever.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So
Are we all happy with it? Can we have a show of hands for it, please?
Yep.
Christine, can you just put your hand in front of the screen?
I'm not in favour of giving out £5 vouchers. I think that's presents. Yeah, I'm not in favour of £5 vouchers.
Okay.
Okay.
So presents unanimous, vouchers 1 down.
Okay. So can we move on to safety? I agree with what you say about the control of the traffic when we're doing Christmas. What we need to do a little bit nearer the time is we need to have allotted crowd control, road control, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so there'll be certain people that will be their job as we go down into where the tree is and the sleigh and everything else.
Yeah.
And they will be in charge of making sure that basically people don't get run over.
Yeah, the police weren't very good this year, was they?
No.
I don't think there was nowhere near as good as they have been in the past.
Unfortunately, within 10 minutes of the police walking down with us, they got an emergency call and had to go to one of the other local villages. There was a problem there, but that left us totally in limbo. We say we need better control next year.
We need to sort it ourselves, don't we?
I think what we need to do as well is we need to apply for the road closure.
We did.
No, I know we did, but it was a bit last minute, wasn't it? These things need a few months in advance, really.
Okay.
And then because then we can apply for a rolling road closure from the village hall to the Christmas tree while we walk down. And then we have the power to close the road, and we're allowed to do that properly. And then we need the top of Church Road closing, so cars can't turn down there, and we can divert pedestrians to stand on that area rather than standing on Main Street. I know they want to stand near the Christmas tree, but we'll have to get them standing on the top of Church Road and cordon off the main street strip of grass almost to stop them standing on there, because they had the backs to it, and if a car had come past and we weren't stood there, they wouldn't have been seen.
Okay.
It might be a thing to get some battery operated floodlights for the opposite side of the road to point at the crowd or something like that. Just to illuminate them. I know it's back on the Christmas tree a bit, but it'll illuminate the pedestrians.
We certainly need something like walkie-talkies would be useful.
Yeah, well, we might have some as a village soon.
Yeah.
We want some lights like they put on skips, you know, when they're left on the road, so that the flashing, you know, for motorists to see.
You can probably get some traffic cones and get some of them lights put on top of them. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Road closure, cones and lights.
Oh, that's a good idea, cones.
Was everybody happy with the sleigh and the lights this year?
Absolutely, I thought it was absolutely wonderful.
It was very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Improvements for next year? More lights or lights on the small tree?
Lights on the small tree, I think, if possible as well.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
The same type and the same colour as what we have. We're not going to go modern, are we?
I think you can still go warm lights.
Warm white.
Get warm white, but get bulb type ones rather than the thinner, smaller LED.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You get the big sort of bulb ones, and it gives it a bit more of a
Christmassy feel.
effect.
Yeah.
Can we have an idea of how much you're willing to spend? Because when you look online now, Christmas lights are extremely cheap.
Yeah, that was the best time to buy.
So buy them now.
Can somebody suggest a budget that Anne and I can start to look at to buy the lights?
Probably
Anywhere between
£30
30 and 50. You don't need an awful lot because it's not a big tree. What do you think? I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked, so I don't know.
A maximum of £150.
Yeah, I was going to say 100 quid, but 150 quid, I think is fair.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend that though, do you?
No.
There's
But you need to be able to know that you can go to that if you need to.
There's a website here that has a 25-meter warm white festoon lights, connectable frosted LEDs, 1,000 LEDs, 25 meters worth. I don't think you need 25 meters, but they're £175.
170, yeah, because you would, because what you do, you go up the stump and then into the tree.
Yeah, so I think you probably will need a best part of 200 quid.
Okay.
I think.
So can you put that on
That's just the first Google search.
Just shop around and just whatever's the best fair price.
So Jacob, can you suggest £200 as a budget?
I would propose £200 as the max budget.
Okay, I'll second that. Anybody against that? Or are we all in favour?
Yeah, I'll agree with it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's carried.
All right, so we're looking for warm white bulb type.
I'll send you this link, Steve.
Yeah, okay, please, thank you.
Okay, all right.
So when the sleigh was taken away from the site just after Christmas, it was extremely heavy. It took 4 of us to carry it. So I've asked for a quote for a guy in the village to make us a trolley so it can be taken from the village hall. That's something else we need to do. We need to thank the village hall committee because they're now storing the sleigh and the reindeer. David Hodgson is talking about building some form of lean-to protect them for us. At the moment, they're just sheeted over. So they might come back to us with a few £100 for some wood and some sheeting.
Okay, all right.
We've got a quote for a trolley and a quote for sheeting. Otherwise, we're okay. And improvements, further improvements, as I say, I'm going to talk to Craig about copying the reindeer idea and having some other themes, but not just around the church. As the weeks leading up to Christmas, something outside Pimhurst, something at the end of Glebe Road, something at Oak Square, something near the school, that really start to lead into the tree lighting.
That'd be nice for the
I'll talk to
children.
Craig about that.
Yeah, we'll sort it.
Yeah.
Apologies, I've got a nosebleed.
Right, so shall we move on to safety?
Yeah.
Yeah. Traffic control, speed watch, speed survey, traffic calming.
The only thing on there that's odd is when we had the last meeting, you'd said you'd seen speed strips down Muse Road.
We've seen
Speed strips on Muse Road. Somebody in the village.
further up.
Yeah. Anne and I wrote to the East Riding, and the East Riding have not put speed strips down there. They said that we are not due in their normal cycle of things until sometime next year, or there is significant increases in traffic.
Oh,
So what they were or who they were from, we have no idea.
right, okay. Well, that's a mystery, isn't it?
Yes.
Do
The other
we,
three topics, other two topics, we'll wait until next meeting with the PCC. So do we
Yes.
want to talk about the PCC now?
yeah. Okay. Hello, yeah, there we go. All right, so that is starting at 6:30, yeah,
Yep.
to 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll meet
So-
him about 6:15. We'll give him a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. We'll talk to him, open forum. And the reason the times are really tight is because there's a dance class that doesn't finish till 6:30. And at
Yeah.
7 o'clock, there's a yoga class.
right.
So that half an hour in the main hall, do we really believe that we're going to get the numbers that Jacob thinks and we'll need the main hall?
Well, I
I
don't.
think you will for the PCC, given the amount of people who turned up the antisocial behaviour meeting. that I
True.
did. I think if you're looking at even half that amount, really, you're going to need the big hall still.
Yeah.
'Cause there's probably 60 or 70 people at that antisocial behaviour meeting.
Yes, there was. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so what we're saying, how tight are we then for time?
Well, we are, because they say that by the time people are starting, Jacob's point is 6:30, the dance class are coming out. We're trying to get the general public in and set some chairs out there. The first 10 minutes are going to be pandemonium.
It's not going to happen, is it?
There's nothing else we can do. The village hall is always going to be full from that time. And then at 7 o'clock, when the public have finished, we'll have some people can take him into the reading room, start talking to him again. Any of the public can go in there for a 7:15 start, because a couple of parish councillors have got to stay in the main hall to put the chairs away for the yoga class.
Right.
It's just so fell that I won't be there, unfortunately. But
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, I still can't help. I'm still on crutches, so I can't help.
No, as I say, if you can go and be polite, 2 or 3 of you can go and be polite to him and chit chat to him. I can put the chairs away.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. So
We can do the lug-in, so.
yeah, we can do the lugging while the rest of you do the chit chatting. So I'd say
Help on that back, they can't.
Well, Andrew can help with the chit chatting.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, can do his Father Christmas.
He's good at that, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll help with the chairs.
Well, I'm not being funny. We'll sort it out.
We'll sort
as best
it,
as
yeah.
we can.
Of course we can.
Yeah, we'll
We
have to.
always do, and we always will. So it's not a problem. We'll
Exactly.
just get on with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll do as best we can.
I can grab a pair
Right.
of hands if we need.
So what time do we need to be there then on the
Well,
Thursday?
6:15.
6:15 on the
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. And then he'll come. I can either bring tea and coffee over, or we can use the kitchen. Make him feel welcome. He can park his stuff down there, make himself presentable, go to the toilet, ready for the public meeting at 6:30.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right. So we're going to wait with the speed survey and the traffic calming
Until we spoke to him.
until we spoke to him. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Cram reports. Have we got anything?
Yeah, well, there's a Crown report sent to us, the normal monthly one that goes out to Holderness, and there was nothing mentioned specifically about Wawne in the figures. So
Okay.
yeah, we had a reasonable month.
All right. And I think we've covered the meeting with the police and Cram Commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what
okay.
I have also done, Anne and I have written to Darren to let him know that the Police and Crown Commissioner here will be here in the February meeting.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Just to add on the crime topic, there is a piece in the Gazette about crime over the last 12 months in mid-Holderness.
Mid-Holderness.
You can't drill down into Wawne figures and get the sort of nice graphics that they give you on the police website. So it's referring to mid-Holderness, but obviously it just gives you a general picture of the crimes in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Infrastructure recreation ground subcommittee updates.
Yeah, I'm waiting on final confirmation of whether we've got the money or not. There is a meeting some point. I've been asked further questions have been answered. I will hopefully, if I'm not there in person, I will be there in spirit in February, and there may be an update for you to read out.
Good.
Excellent. Pavements.
Yeah, one of the things that I noticed is that the pavements on the left-hand side coming into the village, all the way from number 12 to number 23 of Main Street, the pavement edge is being destroyed by the buses and lorries that are mounting the curb. Cars are coming really fast down Main Street from the shop. They see the bus, they brake, but nobody seems to be able to reverse, and they sit there while the bus mounts the pavement. So Anne and I have written to Ian Sugden, and the East Riding are carrying out a survey of the curbs at that side. I don't know what else they can do. They will certainly need repairing.
Okay.
Yeah, I busted it actually to our car yesterday.
Yeah. The buses drive fast, the cars drive fast. It's, yeah.
Is it worth writing to the bus company, or do we not want to annoy them?
Are they going to get worse from the lorries with the solar farm come through?
Yes, yeah, true. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Environment. Planning applications. Obviously, that's the solar farm here thing. It's the car farm Ticton.
Yeah.
So that's been given permission.
Yeah.
That's a different one. That's different, that one. The one on
Yes,
the
I know.
agenda, that is a different one, isn't it?
That's a different one.
That's
That's
a Ticton
Ticton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's been given permission. Right. Planning decision, erection of a timber carport.
Sorry, Amanda, that one on the agenda hasn't been given planning permission.
Oh, sorry.
That's not the one.
I'm reading it wrong.
That's not the one at Kenley House. That's the bigger one. That's
and they're going for planning. Yeah, I'm reading it wrong. Thanks for
all right,
putting it right. Now we've got the erection of a timber carport refused.
Yeah, this is the one at the shop. Yeah, this is at the village shop where the public have complained to the East Riding, and the East Riding have rejected their application for it to be permanently placed there.
Right. Okay.
What's the people's objection against it then? Why are they complaining? What's wrong with it?
I'm not prepared to say anything online.
I believe the concerns that were raised by the concerns residents, which are of public record, it is not in keeping with the area of something of that kind. It's unsightly, I believe. We did have correspondence about it, I believe, before.
Yes, we did, but I can't see any reason to refuse it. After all, we're only trying to do a job and serve the village. But there we go.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who am I to use common sense?
Well, that was the concerns. It's not my opinion. That was the concerns.
So what we'll do is we'll move on from that, because that's nothing we can do about that. All right.
Do we have to pass comment on this proposed application, the solar farm?
Have we lost Dan?
Yes, yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
I would suggest, because we've set a precedent, and obviously people's minds are not going to change about solar farms, we use a very similar, if not the same sort of precedent that we set with the Kenley House one, in that I
Yeah.
think in the end we were for the solar farm, but we had concerns about where they came from,
Yeah.
disruption to the nearby communities, loss of agricultural land, etc. Were the concerns that were had.
Can we not just abstain?
We
If
could,
that's
but
what we want to do.
we could, but I think it would be remiss of us to abstain if we've already set a precedent by giving comment to the one in Wawne.
Well, I will let you guys vote on that.
Yeah, I would support Jacob, use the same words as we used the last time.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So
Agree.
that's carried.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
carried. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I was
No,
running.
Blame the flu and cold.
Never mind. Never mind. I'll live. I haven't had a drink. That's the problem, you see. Sober. Should never get me sober. All right. Engagement, communication, website, Gazette.
Nothing special other than the Gazette will go out this week, hopefully. The Police Crime Commissioner flyer didn't quite make the Gazette, so it's going out as a separate flyer, but it'll get delivered with the Gazette.
All right. That's wonderful. Correspondence, Steve.
Okay. Ongoing correspondence. Anna's written back to the East Riding to talk about the latest situation of the unuse. This is the land that was developed down Ferry Road, where the East Riding have been asking them to move on for the last 3 years, and they're in the final stages of that one. So we should get an update on that one. One of the things that we always talk about is the email from the residents about the floods and drains down Pimhurst. We've now got a comprehensive reply from the Independent Drainage Board, and we've also contacted the environmental officer about the smells that used to be down there. When you read the IDB report, it fairly and squarely places the next set of action on the East Riding, which is to come down and empty the dike and the ditch on the opposite side of the road to Pimhurst. So do we need to engage with our ward councillor to see when the IDB are going to make the East Riding do it, or when the East Riding are going to volunteer to do it?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, I don't think they'll volunteer. I think we should make them do it.
I don't think I volunteer either.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
think that's a really good idea.
They can
Jacob,
do it.
will you do that for us?
Yeah, if the parish council wants to write to me, I can and express the concerns and the facts and figures and what have you. Obviously, I know them, but it would be easier for the officers, and then the officers can make the determination. But yeah, I'll apply some pressure for you and ask for it to be looked into at the very
Thank
least,
you.
sorted out if possible.
Yeah.
So the
Thank you very
long-standing one is Parish Council bin. Anne has got a date for the bin on Church Crescent, the 18th of January, for our bin to be taken away and for an East Riding replacement bin to be put there. That bin is one of the busiest bins in the village.
Okay.
What's happening to our bin?
Our bin is going to go down to the recreation ground to be the third bin down there.
Okay, so the East Riding know to give the bin back to us.
No, we're going to move the bin ourselves. As we move the bin to Pimhurst, Lee's going to move it down to the recreation ground.
Okay.
Street lighting. After a year and a half of chasing, we've now got a reply from Carl Rourke at the East Riding Lighting, saying that they've been looking at getting quotes. They've now found out there's only one company that can do the work needed, and that's Northern Power Grid. And they are trying to get a price from Northern Power Grid to put the lights down around Pimhurst. He's copied another guy from the East Riding in, and they'll be taking it forward for us. So that one's making progress for the first time in a long time.
Just clarity on that one, Steve. It's lights from Pimhurst to the play park, not around Pimhurst.
Yeah.
It's lights all the way from the village, improving the lighting down to Pimhurst.
Yeah. Not actually on Pimhurst.
Not Pimhurst, no.
No.
Yeah.
The next one was CCTV funding. There was some monies for CCTV funding that the East Riding were putting out. We filled in our application, but the East Riding wanted far more information than we've made progress on. They wanted 3 quotes, etc. So there was no way we were getting anywhere on that one. New in this month, email from a parishioner saying, questioning whether or not Jacob had presented out the last 2 emails about reading the Gazette, and we've assured her that we have had all their information put to us and it's being discussed at parish council meetings. We've got 2 emails from people looking at maintaining the recreation ground should we ever get money. They'll just be held on record until such time as we get to hear that the East Riding are no longer doing it for us. An email from the church saying thank you for Christmas and a big thank you for the toys that we donated, the ones that we didn't give out. We've got an email from Ernlicher pointing us to the East Riding's food strategy website, and this is the East Riding saying how they're going to improve food availability and food topics and food knowledge at schools and across the area. We've got an email from the Plumber Strategy talking about their winter campaign to keep electricity supplies in the area. Email from the East Riding about warning us that bird flu has broken out in 2 local farms near us. Email from Humber and Walls talking about oil users support, and this is just letting us know that they're contacting all housing in the area about support of oil and fuel. Email from the Office of Police and Crime Commissioner. He's doing a survey and he's letting us know that all people are welcome to complete the police survey. He wants to know about what people want so he can work his police funding strategy out. And that's it as far as communication is concerned.
Okay, well,
there's just one thing I don't think you've got it, but I sent it around us all. It's the closure of the road outside Kingswood High School.
Oh yeah,
towards the end.
it's up on that one.
Yeah, towards the end of January for 12 weeks.
You said 23rd.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks, I think it is, isn't it?
It's a lot more than that. I think it's for something like 12 weeks.
Yeah,
12 weeks, is it? I know it's a long time.
Yeah.
I thought it was,
isn't it?
I thought it was 13 weeks.
It might be 13.
13
it's a long time,
Yeah.
but it's just worth noting that I don't know how it came to the Wawne Facebook page, but nobody else in the village, as far as I'm aware, has had a letter. So I don't know if Hull City Council are going to letter drop Wawne.
This particular closure on this roundabout, whereabouts actually is that?
It's outside the high school, outside the academy.
That roundabout there. What, the first one before you come to the high school?
It's the second. It's the one after.
So the one that goes either to Bransholme one way or Kingswood the other way.
Yeah.
And
it's Kingswood. It's the Kesteven Way one onto
Right.
Kingswood.
Right, okay.
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 So you'll be able to go down the first one at the Tesco, or
Yeah.
the one after it. You just won't be able to go down Kesteven.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and they'll use that emergency relief road. When that bridge was closed, that's the road they're going to use.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to ask Hull City Council if they're intending on letting the village know.
Might be an idea, because a lot of
an email
people
address
use
on that.
won't they?
Yeah, there was an email address on the letter, so maybe Anne could ask if they're going to let the village know, or if there's anything we could do, because it just missed the Gazette again. I found out after 3 days of the Gazette going to print. So
so we'll take an action for Anne to contact Hull City Council, letter drop the village if possible. And if they don't, should we do another flyer?
we could just print that. We could just ask them to send us the letter, or they could send us 500 copies of the letter and plan, and we can deliver it, or they can send us a letter we can print and deliver it.
And I'll work something out on that one then. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
I'll get the Gazette deliverers to do it if we need to.
Okay.
So
And sorry, the choir master sent thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's nice.
that's good.
Oh, they were lovely, weren't they?
Yeah, there were.
Very nice.
They
They
were
were
lovely.
absolutely lovely. Yeah. So councillors, have we got anything to report for the next agenda at the moment?
No,
Nothing
No.
from me.
no,
No.
nothing for me.
Nothing for me.
I think we've already dealt with issues for communication in that last bit, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I suggest that we do the I forgot what it's called, when they crown the king.
Oh,
With
the
the
coronation.
coronation.
Do you want
Yeah.
that
Put
adding?
that on the agenda.
If you're not going to be there for February and the police crown, shall we put that on the March agenda?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, March agenda.
I suppose people can be thinking about ideas, can't they?
Yeah.
is it in May? Is it in May?
June, May, June.
No, it's in June because I'm away on holiday.
All right, so it's in June.
June.
Oh, okay. Well,
No, it's
that gives us
on
enough time, I think. to
No,
talk
it's
it's
not.
about
on
it.
8th of May.
No, it's 8th of May. Sorry, I'm still on
Six.
holiday.
Saturday, the 6th of May, it says.
Yeah.
It's in May. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
and
it was May.
the bank holiday are in the Monday after.
Excellent. That's all
We'll
right.
have
Well,
to
it
have
still
a
gives
think
us
about
enough time.
have to have a think about what sort of event we want to do and
Yeah.
and such like. Whether we want to do something in the open buffet type thing in the village hall or invite only, etc.
Yeah.
Or something at the
Okay.
school.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right. So we'll see everybody, or as many of us as can make it on
In
the
February.
2nd of February 2023.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Happy New
Quarter
Year.
past 6 to meet the commissioner. Thank you,
Cheers,
everyone.
bye.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.